So, I haven't had occasion to make one of these in a bit, and I know the instances where I do interact with whoever my audience may be are kind of limited. Um, I've chimed in a few during the music streams just because that's kind of what people gravitate to, which is understandable. But I guess I kind of felt compelled to put something together to give at least some kind of indication of the channel's direction or whatever. But honestly, I'm not really doing the best. I was in the hospital for a few weeks, had a real tough go of things, and at this point, my free time is invested in, creating things. But um, and any artist may have faced this dilemma before, but the self-defeating nature of like my work isn't good enough, or it doesn't carry enough perfectly inlaid designs to be interesting to anyone. Um, One thing that does chafe is I have a story I've been working on for the better part of a decade, and most of the themes slowly filtered into the general pop culture zeitgeist. And now I'm going back and having to revise a lot of the ideas that, well, once they may have been innovative, now they just seem like rip-offs, really. Granted, I don't really know if it'll ever find a publisher. Some of the maladies that I've alluded to in past videos, mostly during the intervals of music where I'm pretty sure no one was listening anyway, um, they're such that they have a tendency to block any creative flow that once came pretty easily to me. So it's kind of tricky. Video wise, though, I mean, I'd love to publish more content that's focused, geared towards stories, narratives, but I don't really have the means. I'm not much of a social butterfly. I'm an introverted writer and role player who sometimes showcases that stuff. And I've done some weird avant garde bullshit with music playlists curated into a more story based format, which was fun, but that stuff gets copyright striked almost immediately. I was working on a Solasta module. It's a game sort of like Baldur's Gate 3, and I was designing essentially what was the 10 plus years of story content I'd been writing just organized into a gameplay narrative. But when I'm in a position where I need part time work to stabilize my income and just not be walking a tightrope every month, I've just been trying to make that my focus. But when there are days of idleness where I'm not under heavy symptoms, I do want to be active in creating things, but I guess that's the problem. I have all these desires and designs to work in creative outlets, I just don't really have the means to make them work. Or maybe the self confidence that by the end they're going to be worth anything. I can do a random live stream and get like 2,000 views, and then I spend a day editing something and it gets maybe 100. So it's just this weird nebulous network of algorithm based recommendations until you actually find an audience, and even I don't really know what that audience would be. So I guess it's kind of hard to cultivate content when you don't even know who you're making it for. I mean, ideally, I'd just be making it for me, making things I find funny or intriguing, and if they're good, other people will gravitate to that too. But what is that in a nutshell? Is it just fancy editing, more exposure to the editor, more interaction? I mean, some of those things they're really not that simple for me. Interaction chief amongst them. I mean, if I had a live stream with like 200 people sitting in it, that would be my nightmare, for example. But the live streams pushed out en masse seem to be the only thing getting my numbers closer to 300 subscribers so that I could actually gear up and focus on this as a relevant side project to make monthly bills and such. So I don't know. All of this is to say, I felt like publishing some kind of verbal update, so here it is. So what do we expect? Well, I guess this is just me saying I don't really know. But expect something, and I'll try to make it not suck. Cool? Cool.